where you are. It's noon where I am. Might be earlier than noon for some others. Um, Looks like we're live. Just waiting to see myself. I'm up and running, and audio's working. What's up, Cooley? I can't see myself on YouTube yet, so I'm just gonna refresh that page. All right, we're up and running. Welcome back to another session of Chart Mastery. This is gonna be pretty much the typical chart mastery. I'm gonna cover indices, BTC, Ether. You can look at some alts. I kind of see something in the market that I want to highlight before we dive in. Right. I'm dubbing this market season as infinite short squeeze, and I'm calling it that just because what I see on tech stocks, right? And I think what I see is it's wild, right? Like stocks can literally stay bearish, but the QQQ, their index, can make a new high, right? We talked about this briefly last time. Talked about this on Discord a lot. I keep saying that on Twitter. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right? But in terms of today's pullback, how do I want to do this? I'm going to start with BTC, and then I'll do Ether, and then we'll talk about indices, right? Because last time I started with indices, so let's flip it around. So BTC saw something this morning. I put it right in that BTC channel for everybody to see, right? And what that was a bearish 61.8, right? So if this run was going to stop running, right, reject, it did it at a pretty good spot, right? And it was tradable, right? When we first got up there this morning, I said, hey guys, we got up to here, we kissed it the first time, the chart kissed the red line the first time. I said, hey, I'm not gonna mess with it just yet, right? And we made that high, and I said we're not going to mess with it just yet. But then right here, like on one of these candles, I think on this up candle, I shorted, right? And I put up my short in our leveraged crypto chat. And stop is 45059, like so. I took out a hedge. It was not as big as I wanted to because I do firmly believe that the market is actually bullish, right? I said this is going to be my quarter of my position, quarter of my intended. And what I'd like to see is something like this before I add, right? Like what I saw up here for the short was that minor 61.8. Above the 61.8, I saw a short above 44.975 on that, rejecting candle, probably on this candle right here. And then boom, like 3 candles later, we saw the sell off, right? So I'd like to see is a continuation 61.8 where like BTC goes up, rejects here, and then comes back down. And at that point, I'd probably want to double down on my short, double up, I'd go 2x what I'm shorting right now. And if you get another one, that's when I'll add, right? But I wasn't trying to go like really big on a short right now. It just didn't feel right. Maybe I was wrong to do that, but I did. I was right on the entry. I was right on the stop, and we are seeing the first down impulse. All right. Before I leave this chart, could this be a bear trap? Right. I am saying infinite bear trap, infinite short squeeze, possibly. Right. Every single run up we've had has been sold off before rallying harder. Right. This one, I think, is currently at the 50% of this last micro swing. No, it's below. It's testing the 61.8. So if this is going to turn in continuation of this breakout, right, I would love to see this happen right now. Like by the end of the stream, I'd love to see a turn and heading back to 44.763, right? I'd love to see the chart do that. If we're going to see a continuation. If not, right, then we're probably going to see it at 43.215 where we'll start seeing the snapback. But this has to snap back eventually, right? Technically speaking, it's either going to be here or here. Here, I'd probably want to take it long. If we see like a rejection wick at 43.215 or 43,000, right? If you start seeing like good volume come in and wicks down here, it's kind of something like this, I would take a long up to 61.8 and call it a scalp. I'm not interested in this move. It's a little smaller, right? Unless we get like a severe breakout, but I have plenty of long exposure, so I'm not too hungry. This was more of like an insurance fund. Bearish exposure on a pullback right before a pullback. All right, so that covers BTC for now. If we do see breakout continuation, what do I think is going to happen? Realistically, like looking at Ether and looking at BTC, we might have put in a bottom. If we close above here, I'm not saying we're going to go to an all-time high, but there's a high likelihood that we see a larger retracement, right? Larger retracement could be something like a move to 53,511, right? So we could probably see something like this if we get that continuation. And if we don't, then we're probably going to come back down to test 40,000 again, right? 40,912. And, you know, a couple weeks ago we were here, the chart broke below support, and I'm like, hey, like this is, you know, trend line support, right? And I said, hey, this 37.76 should flick it back above, and it did that. So it's kind of a bear trap here. And yeah, all right. I feel like I've rambled a lot about BTC. If you guys missed the initial assessment when the stream's over, you could always go back and rewind and watch whatever you want. So let's look at Ether. Something I'm seeing on ETH, right? As of last stream, I was saying we need to see 35.79. I think that's based on, you know, this chart hasn't changed, right? So this green line is, right? That's our trend line. And this high right here was the trend break, right? So I'm thinking we do a retracement of trend break 61.8, which should get us up to 36, which is another reason why I'm not heavily shorting BTC like bigly as I'd like to. And we remove all these drawings, and we basically could potentially have, when, like, I mentioned this in Discord a few days ago, right? Where when the trend broke on that last down move, right, from the last consolidation over here, we had this really like ugly price action. Like it's just big wicks up, big wicks down, dojis, and just like not the prettiest candles, right? We didn't see a massive bullish engulfing like the one right here over my head. Let me make myself a little smaller. Right? We didn't see one of these, right, on the break. What we saw instead was this price action that makes you second guess yourself, right? And we're kind of seeing very similar price action right now, which kind of has me bullish, right? It doesn't look too bullish, but it potentially can be very. And then if we, what about 61.8? I got close. We didn't quite kiss it yet. I don't think we did. Maybe we did. Maybe we did at 32.02. We'll see. We'll see what, you know, we'll see how this develops, this unfolds. Think I had like smaller fibs on my battle station behind me. I know I did because I was kind of doing some little silly plays. That wasn't it. There was like a 1.2 and a 1.4 over here that I was eyeing. How did I get those? Anyways, they're relevant. I just wanted to highlight something on a smaller time frame, but I'm not gonna do it. All right. Let's talk about indices now. Paris, I'll check Litecoin once I'm done with the basics. I will do that for you. All right. Let's look at the ES, right? We had posted UPRO calls like last week before the up move, and the target was literally today's take profit, right? I posted that today, and wham, bam, right? So I was saying, once this trend broke, I was saying, you know, we're gonna have to see a 61.8 retracement. Like that's just what an efficient market does. I was saying shorting anywhere below this is not a good idea, right? It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money, right? And you're not in markets to do that. And even like from the previous streams, I had these alerts set for a support break and for a target break, right? And I tend to put them right below target, and we saw them. So I took profits on my UPRO, even though I still have another full week of holding them. All right, don't want to delete it. That's fine. Let's have a full week of holding them. There were 57 calls, and we're at like 63. All right, so that's like $6 in the money. It's great for in my perspective. After this pullback, that was a great trade, great entry, great exit. Kind of letting it chill. Now for the Qs, right? I think Qs have a different story. In terms of a smaller retracement, like I was showing you guys on Ether on a trend break retrace, it did a 61.8, right? The S&P did a larger 61.8, which kind of has me not convinced that this is the top. Another reason I'm not convinced that this is the top, if you look at things like Facebook, they can squeeze higher. They can squeeze way higher, right? Even if you wanted to see a bearish continuation here, let's go to the 4 hours so we get more complete candles. Right? If you wanted to see bearish continuation here, well, it's above the 61.8 on this one, right? Literally, Facebook can go up to 276. It can push up to here and come back down, right? A great example of that is what Netflix did not too long ago, right? That's going to be our break, right? So I made this massive up move, which was just a short squeeze, right? Only to sell back off again. Looking at this looks really like it's begging me to long it. Why? Because it's like a descending broadening wedge. I think it's a 5 count. Let's do an A, B, C, D, E. Let's do our 1, B, C, D, E. Right? I'm not a big fan of the 0, but it looks like a 5 count. Usually when you see that savage one down, it should be ready to rally. So now, looking at this, like Netflix probably going to make another run to retest 449. Square's looking similar. And that's what I'm talking about when I say an infinite short squeeze setup. Because every time one of these stocks is going to squeeze, I think it's going to push the NQ higher, right? That's what it does. Because these stocks dumped, like Netflix came down 50%, right? 53%. Facebook came down 50-something%. PayPal came down a lot more, right? So, and the index only came down 20%. Look at this. So, down 22%. Meanwhile, some of the stocks in this basket came down 50%. Plus, what that tells me is the stocks that held it up, things like Apple, Microsoft, and Google, it didn't clap as hard, right? They're kind of holding it. They're holding the line. They're keeping... Thanks, Stanley. They're keeping NQ from they kept it from dropping lower, right? But now, as we're going to see these other stocks start squeezing out shorts, right, for the market to be in equilibrium, to hit these 61.8 continuation downs before you continue down, even if they can stay bearish, right? I think the QQQ can go to an all-time high while stocks remain bearish, or some stocks remain bearish, and just on these infinite squeezes, right? So instead of like infinite QE, quantitative easing, we can tighten, but I think greedy short sellers and late short sellers are going to make the index go to a new high and not necessarily bullish buying, right? That's kind of my theory on it, and I posted in Discord how I'm trading this. I have like a couple of open calls that are far out. I don't think it's going to be fair for everybody in Discord for me to share this out of Discord, so I'm not going to. All right. Maybe when you take profit on them, kind of like we did with the small account challenge a while ago, a year and a half ago. All right. That kind of wraps up what I have to say. Paris wants me to check out Litecoin. If you have any charts you want me to cover, this is your time to start typing them in the chat. I'll take a look at them and show you. I'll demonstrate what I'm seeing and how I would approach them. All right, so let's look at Litecoin. I'm looking at the LTC USD pair. just not. It hasn't really convinced me as of recent, right? Like, when was it? We were in on this run, right? And that back then, I'm like, this thing is super bullish, and ran at 274. Before I was super bullish before it actually broke out, like right here, like 179. I think we longed it, and then 274 was a target, and right now it's not as convincing, man. Like, it's not. I don't see it having that crypto style momentum, right? Like I'll go right now. But in terms of just sticking to what I see instead of what I think, right? The daily trend broke, right? You're seeing support at 120. So at this point, where is the next resistance, right? Where's the next stop? And that one can be the next 61.8. And where are we now? Charts above this one, right? So we could go to the next stop. This has a lot of resistances it needs to push through. But in terms of what I see right now, it's above that trend line, which is good. Is it looking crazy bullish, super sexy? I don't think so. Hi, Navima. Dude, boss hug. Yeah, man. Dude, I have a secret position in Algo. I didn't signal it. I wasn't comfortable with, signaling a FOMO, but it's freaking running, man. So, Paris, this is something that looks sexy, right? Like, look at these last few days worth of candles. This thing's clearly trying to put in a bottom. It's got this is an atom, right? The heck? We have an Adam and Eve formation. It's trying to clear that top. And it's looking good, man. There's even like an inverse head and shoulders here. So I think Algo is looking primed for a reversal. It's looking like it's actually in a reversal. We're past the initial 61.8. And we're right at the current major swing, right? So at this point, I'm probably comfortable saying that all goes at resistance, right? And if we get above that 937, then we're entering bigger swing. But seeing where like BTC is right now, where Ether possibly is right now, if we see a pullback in the market and a little profit taking and some sideways, I wouldn't be discouraged, but I would look to long the 50%, 61.8% retracements, or even the smaller depths, right? So if we see all go sell off, right? I think objectively speaking, we're gonna want to pick it up at some of the retracement levels. Alrighty, let's look at Qdom. This is coming from Cooley and the tube. Nice, looking bouncy. Major swing is not quite there yet. I think this would be the actual trend break. Why do I say that? Am I just saying that? Nope. Right. I kind of started I did a few of these on the stream today. Did one on Ether. Did one on NQ. Right. So that would be our trend break swing high. And if this stops off here, right, doesn't mean it's going to go new low. Not necessarily, but I wouldn't be super discouraged. This also looks like it's put in like quote unquote a double bottom. We see something similar here. I haven't kept up with the fundamentals on Qdom. I didn't think anybody was still trading it. I'm not much of a fundamentals guy anyway. So that's something I'd look out for, right? It looks like 8.29 is at resistance. I just want to highlight sand. Like, it did this a couple of weeks ago on that last major pump. And it took a break, but then it continued up, right? So was this sand? No, it actually kept going. Huh. Never mind. Forget what I just said. Rewind. Hey, director, can you delete the last 20 seconds? No, I'm kidding. Let's look at XRP. I love everybody's engagement today. Once again, a lot of these things are going to look very similar in terms of at a 61.8 just because we do know this market is actually very correlated. Right? Now, in terms of this swing, Ripple looks bullish. It's above that 61.8. What is the larger swing telling us? Not quite, right? So I'm, looking at all these charts, right? Sometimes this happens during a stream when I look at a lot of y'all's charts. I come to these conclusions that the market's likely going to sell off for the next few days, maybe take a break. Last time I said this on the stream, it kind of developed, right? Like the prophecy happened. I'm not saying short everything to zero, but what I'm saying is, like, there could be some buy opportunities coming up, right? And if you snag the short on BTC like I did, we can probably trade the continuation 61.8 until it's no longer profitable, right? Let's look at Gala. What's up, Pi? Same thing. Like, this looks just like what was that we just covered? Just like algo, right? You got that inverse head and shoulders followed by an Adam and Eve, and this is typically a bottom formation. Like, it just is. Like, how often does it play out? I don't know, man. I don't have the exact numbers on it. Why have we seen resistance here, right? Why have we seen resistance here at these three spots, right? So 26 cents, that's resistance now until it's not. I think this would be, there's not really a third line, a third spot, right, to like line this trend line up. But right when I looked at it, this was my first time trying to fib it, and right away the 61.8 lined up, and it just looked like that's where that impulse really, the trend broke, and we had that impulse, the first one, and you get like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, I think it's ready to, if it doesn't close above 26.69, it's going to continue down. All right, let's look at Q&T. Another, like, this is a compound Adam and Eve. See, the market's getting unclapped, right? Was this our relief rally? I think this could have been, have been the actual relief rally, and we kind of continue down some more, but I don't know. What's going on this internal swing? I'd want to see a lot of these charts start taking out these 61.8s, right? So like this would be 148 on Q&T. I want to see 148 get taken out and become support. Looks like the 50 is holding. It didn't quite ring it. I'm not comfortable saying it did pull a complete 61.8 retracement, unless that's our swing high, and that kind of makes more sense though. I don't know. I'm not going to make an assessment on this one. First, I'm looking at this chart. So, theta. Theta's looking good. I kind of called the bottom on Twitter, like on one of these dips right here. What did I call bottom on Twitter for theta at? It's likely doing the same thing. Hang on, guys. I got guys sealing the roof and they're like hooting and hollering. Gotta tell them to chill the fuck out. All right. Pi already covered sand. You have to like rewind. Let's do BCH. I think it's a scam. I think it's always going to be a scam. I think 379 was the top. I wouldn't short it, but I wouldn't long it. Even like RBI 4 hour gave a strong sell signal. When was the last time it did that? Last time we saw one of these was back here and it dipped. All right. So at this point, if we start seeing a sell off in the market, we want to buy the. There's two ways to trade it, right? First thing I'd want to do is find the bearish 61.8, like bounce up. The bearish 61.8 usually goes up, right? I want to short into that. And once I short into that, I want to try to long the bullish 61.8 and just kind of hedge that range and walk away, right? And that's kind of what I'm looking at. Yeah, Pi, everything looks the same, man. All these charts, all these crypto charts look basically the same. I don't know. I think more interestingly, we need to see what the stock market does, because I don't see crypto going bullish with the stock market folding over and going back down. It doesn't work that way, right? Risk is correlated. It's either risk on or risk off. I feel like tech's gonna squeeze. At least the index is really gonna rip. It's gonna go to a new all-time high, just based on short squeezes. And I think maybe we take a break. The market takes a break from pumping for the next few days, unless I would change my assessment if BTC can actually continue the upwards push and get above the 61.8, right? God, look at that, beautiful, man. We got in on a wick high on the 4 hour, right? So if this was the short, we shorted that damn wick on the 4 hour, and that's why I like charting large time frames and shorting on a 5-minute chart, but like with respect to the big picture, right? That's why I like doing that. You guys in Discord see a lot of 5-15 minute time frame type screenshots, right? It just gives us that accuracy. I mean, we got it in right here, right before that dump on an up candle. So ideally, like the next 61.8, if you're going to see continuation, it's literally the larger 61.8, right? It would be retesting the 4 hour candles, like close, right? 44,703. And that's where I'd want to probably take a short if you reject here, right? That's how you want to treat any of these alts that, if we're going to see that down move. And at some point, let's say this thing starts retracing in the next week, in the next 2 weeks, and we see a deep pullback. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a bit of a rising wedge, but we've seen these in the beginning of a run. They just keep bear trapping, right? So keep that infinite bear trap short squeeze scenario in mind, right? So if we short 45, right, and it dumps to 40, and we long 40, and we basically short up here and long down here, right? We can literally walk away from this chart and go fishing every day until the range resolves, right? So that's kind of my plan on this. If that short gets stopped out, fuck it, let it run. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream. Have a great weekend. Spend time with the family. Don't stress these weekend charts too much, right? I know they don't stop trading. Just because they don't stop doesn't mean you don't have to stop. Take a break. Spend some time with your loved ones. Life's too short. Have some fun. And, yeah, use stop losses. Trade safe. Catch me in Discord. Follow us on Twitter. There's links in the link tree if you want to learn how to use Fibs. That's there too. All right, fam. Thank you. Much love to you. I'll catch you on Monday. Same time, same place.